5 outdoor jacket brands are taking your money and leaving you cold. Literally. The word waterproof is on the hang tag. The mountain photo is on the website. The price feels like it should mean something. And then the wind hits at altitude, or the rain comes sideways, or the temperature drops past where that insulation was ever designed to work, and you find out what you actually bought. Today we expose the 5 biggest jacket buying traps on the market, then show you the 5 that actually earn their price, and one of them is going to surprise you. I'm Ranger Jack. 17 years outfitting clients on multi-day alpine trips. No brand deals, no free gear, no affiliate links. The jackets on my graveyard shelf all have their price tags still attached. Let's get into it. Number 5. Generic waterproof jackets from Amazon and direct-to-consumer outlets. This one might look like an obvious opening target. I am starting here anyway, because it sets the baseline that every other trap in this video gets measured against, and because more people are spending money in this category than most gear reviewers want to admit. You search for a hiking jacket. You find one with a high star rating, thousands of reviews, the word waterproof in the product title, zipper pockets, an adjustable hood, and a price somewhere between $45 and $80. It looks exactly like real outdoor gear. Every visual check passes. Here is the problem. Waterproof on a product listing tells you nothing about the membrane inside the jacket, because most of these jackets do not have a real waterproof membrane. What they have is a DWR coating, durable water repellent. It is a chemical treatment applied to the outer face fabric that causes water to bead and run off in light rain. It is not a membrane. It does not stop sustained precipitation. It degrades with washing and UV exposure. And it does not breathe. No named membrane in the product specs. No hydrostatic head rating published anywhere in the listing. No moisture vapor transmission data. Seams are either untaped entirely or critically taped at the shoulders only, meaning every seam below your collar is a direct entry point for water the moment conditions get real. You put this jacket on for a mild trail walk in light weather, and it holds up acceptably. Now try a real climb in cold, sustained rain. Your body generates heat and moisture. That moisture has nowhere to move because there is no breathable membrane pushing it outward. Sweat accumulates inside. The DWR treatment eventually saturates from within while rain hits from the outside. You are wet from both directions simultaneously. In cold wind, that wet layer against your skin pulls heat away from your body fast. At $50, some of this is expected. The price argument exists. The real issue is that most buyers using these jackets in real outdoor conditions believe the word waterproof in the listing is a genuine performance specification. It is a marketing term applied to a surface treatment, nothing more. For a dry commute or a brief walk in light drizzle on flat ground, fine. For sustained rain, cold alpine temperatures, or any extended aerobic effort in real weather, this is the wrong tool, and you will not know that until you are already standing in it wet. The word waterproof is on the listing. The construction to back it up is not in the jacket. That one was cheap. The next trap is not, and that is exactly what makes it more dangerous to walk into. Number 4, Columbia's core and lower tier lines. Columbia is a legitimate outdoor brand with legitimate outdoor history. The distribution is wide, REI, sporting goods chains, major department stores across North America. When you pick up a jacket with Columbia on the chest and Omnitech waterproofing on the hang tag at $130, that sounds like a real technical product from a company that has decades of outdoor experience behind it. Columbia does have that experience in certain product lines. The OutDry Extreme series uses a membrane bonded to the outside construction that is genuinely capable and represents real technical engineering. That product is not what fills most of the rack space. The high-volume core lines, the Arcadia, the Watertight, the Switchback, carry most of the sales. These jackets use Omnitech, Columbia's proprietary membrane. Omnitech at this tier is not publicly benchmarked against Gore-Tex or Event. The breathability performance is lower than premium membranes. Seam taping on most jackets in this range is critical. Shoulders sealed, remaining seams open. Insulated versions frequently use mid-density synthetic fill that is heavy relative to the warmth it delivers compared to competing products at a similar price point. Here is how that failure plays out. Long uphill approach in cold drizzle. The jacket keeps light surface rain off reasonably well on the way up. You are generating significant heat and moisture. That moisture cannot exit at the rate the activity demands because the membrane breathability is limited. You reach an exposed ridge, the temperature drops, the wind picks up. You are now standing in a wet interior layer inside a jacket that cost over $100 and implied through its branding that this exact situation was what it was built to prevent. One of the clients from a group I outfitted for their first serious alpine traverse, a group from the Northern Rockies, had purchased their own Columbia waterproof insulated jacket for the trip. Well reviewed online, confidently priced, purchased with real confidence. By day 2 in consistent rain, the interior had turned clammy and the insulation was fighting moisture it was never designed to handle. For a dry fall day hike or light rain in a moderate climate, these jackets perform adequately. For sustained alpine conditions with real aerobic output, you are one tier below where the membrane needs to be. The name on the chest is doing more work than the membrane behind it. At least Columbia is actually an outdoor brand. The next trap on this list is not, and that is the entire problem. Number 3, fashion and lifestyle. Brands selling outdoor jackets. Zara, H&M, ASOS, Free People, Madewell. If this category seems too obvious to include, consider how many of these jackets are currently being purchased by people who plan to actually hike in them and have no idea what they are holding. The visual language of outdoor technical gear has become mainstream fashion currency. Draw-cord hems, technical pocket placement, helmet profile hoods, earth tones and muted greens, the word outdoor or adventure in the product title, mountain imagery in the photos, the entire aesthetic of real technical apparel, minus any of the actual engineering. Prices range from $60 to $180. At $100, outdoor-level construction is a reasonable expectation. The product visually signals it. The marketing language confirms it. There is no membrane, no seam taping. When insulation is present, it is thin polyester wadding with no fill weight, no GM2 specification, and no warmth rating published anywhere in the product specs. Zippers are fashion grade and not weather sealed. The hood is shaped like outdoor gear and functions as a styling choice. Waterproof in the product description typically means a DWR spray was applied to the outer woven fabric, the same surface treatment from number 5, now sitting at a higher price on fashion-grade construction. In light drizzle near a city trail, the jacket looks exactly right and stays adequately dry. In sustained rain, cold wind, or any aerobic effort in real outdoor conditions, the shell saturates and there is no technical layer anywhere in the construction doing protective work. At $120, the buyer is within striking range of outdoor research or entry-level Patagonia shells with real membranes and real seam taping. That gap is completely invisible in a product photo and painfully obvious on a wet trail. For a city layer in mild seasons, fine. For anything that qualifies as real outdoor use in real weather, wrong category, wrong engineering, wrong product entirely. The outdoor label is on the hang tag. The outdoor engineering never made it into the jacket. Now we move into brands that genuinely build outdoor gear, and that is exactly why the next trap is harder to excuse. Number 2, the North Face Resolve, Venture, and Antora lines. This one hurts people because the trust is real. The North Face has a long, legitimate outdoor heritage. The Summit series is used by professional alpinists in genuinely extreme conditions. Futurelight is a technically competitive membrane. The brand's history is tied to real outdoor achievement over decades. When a buyer sees that logo on a jacket priced at $150 to $200, the assumption that they are buying North Face outdoor performance is entirely reasonable. That assumption is where the trap lives. The Resolve, the Venture, and the Antora lines use dry vent, the North Face's proprietary mid-tier waterproof membrane. Dry vent is not future light. Breathability performance is lower. Moisture vapor transmission under sustained aerobic output does not match premium membrane systems. Seam taping at this tier is commonly critical. Shoulders sealed, remaining seams left open. Face fabrics run lighter. Insulated versions use mid-loft synthetic fills that competing products at the same price point outperform on warmth-to-weight ratio. Several models in this range feature hoods that do not accommodate a helmet and cannot be adjusted with a single hand. I have a North Face ventured jacket on my graveyard shelf, price tag still attached. A client bought it specifically for the logo. They had seen guides and alpinists photographed in North Face gear and made the entirely reasonable inference that the association transferred to the jacket in their hands. Day 2 of a 4-day alpine traverse in cold sustained rain. The jacket was not moving moisture fast enough under aerobic effort. The unsealed seams below the shoulders were allowing water entry over time. The trip was not ruined. The jacket was performing at a level that had no business sitting behind that price and that logo. At $150 to $200, the buyer is one tier away from jackets with Gore-Tex membranes, full seam taping, and published breathability ratings. The Summit Series at $400 and above is a genuinely different product built for genuinely different demands. The Resolve and the Venture live in the same retail space, carry the same logo, and do not have the same construction underneath it. That gap is invisible on a hanger and unmistakable in the rain. You are not paying for North Face engineering. You are paying for the idea of North Face engineering. The final trap is the one that surprises people most, because it involves the most respected outdoor name in this entire video, and because buyers who spend this much assume they are finally safe. Number 1, Patagonia down sweater and Nano Puff. Used as outer shells in wet and cold conditions, precision matters here. I want to be exact about what the problem is and what it is not. The Patagonia down sweater and the Nano Puff are excellent products. The down sweater uses responsibly sourced, traceable down. The Nano Puff uses PrimaLoft synthetic insulation, which retains more warmth when damp than natural down does. Construction quality is consistent with Patagonia's standards across both jackets. The brand's environmental commitments and materials transparency are genuine and long-standing. None of that is under dispute here. The issue is a category mistake, and it costs buyers between $230 and $350 when they make it. The down sweater and the Nano Puff are mid-layers. They are designed to be worn underneath a waterproof outer shell in cold or wet conditions. They are not waterproof breathable outer shells. Neither jacket contains a real waterproof membrane. Both rely on a DWR-treated face fabric that will saturate in sustained precipitation. When the down sweater gets wet, the down loses loft. The air spaces that trap and hold heat collapse when compressed by moisture, and warmth drops fast. A jacket that costs $349 becomes a heavy, cold, sodden weight against your body in exactly the conditions where it was supposed to be protecting you. The Nano Puff holds up better in damp conditions because PrimaLoft retains some warmth when wet, but it is not a shell and will saturate in sustained rain. Patagonia does not misrepresent either product on the technical spec page. The layering system language is present for buyers who read carefully, but the marketing imagery, the aspirational photography, the prestige of the name, the price point that signals serious outdoor commitment creates a powerful impression of readiness for serious alpine conditions. Most buyers do not arrive at the spec sheet. They arrive at the jacket photo, the price, and the name. Those three signals together tell a different story than the technical description does. I have outfitted clients who arrived at the trailhead carrying a Patagonia down sweater as their primary outer layer for cold, changeable alpine conditions. Beautiful jacket, correct product, sitting in the wrong position. On every trip I run, a down sweater goes exactly one place, underneath a shell. That is where it performs. Worn as the outer layer in sustained rain at altitude, it is a $300 mid-layer making an expensive mistake. The jacket is excellent. The use case most buyers imagine for it is not what it was built to handle. Those are the 5 traps. Here is what actually earns the money. Arc'teryx Beta AR and Beta LT. If you're in sustained alpine or multi-day wet conditions and performance is the clear priority, start here. The Beta AR uses Gore-Tex Pro, the highest breathability specification in the current Gore-Tex lineup, with fully taped seams, N40P face fabric with real abrasion and tear resistance, watertight zippers across every opening, and a helmet-compatible hood that adjusts single-handed. The Beta LT pairs standard Gore-Tex with a lighter face fabric for fast and light alpine applications where conditions are serious but not extreme. Pricing runs from $350 to over $600 depending on availability. Genuinely expensive. The construction justifies it across multiple seasons of real alpine use. I have taken no brand sponsorships in 17 years of outfitting clients in conditions where wrong advice has real consequences. The Arc'teryx Beta earns its place on this list by performing when the weather turns. Nothing else. Outdoor Research Helium Rain Jacket. The answer when you want real waterproof, breathable performance without the Arc'teryx price. Depending on the version, the Helium uses Gore-Tex Paclite or Pertex Shield. Both are named membranes with fully taped seams and real breathability data behind them. It packs small and weighs very little. On a product page, it can look nearly identical to the generic jackets from number 5 on this list. The construction is entirely different. At $150 to $229, the OR Helium is the most direct rebuttal to the cheap jacket trap. Same packable form factor. Real technical membrane underneath. Outdoor Research publishes their specifications. The track record in guiding and mountaineering communities for this jacket is consistent and long. Rab Downpour Plus 2.0 and Kangri GTX. This is the surprise on the list, and if the name is unfamiliar, that is precisely the point. Rab is a UK mountaineering brand with decades of expedition and alpine heritage. In the technical climbing and mountaineering community globally, the reputation is strong and long established. In North American big box retail, the footprint is smaller than the logos most buyers recognize, which is exactly why the value is what it is. The Downpour Plus 2. Zero uses Pertex Shield with fully taped construction. The Kangri GTX steps up to Gore-Tex with a helmet-compatible hood and published technical specs at every tier. Pricing from $180 to $320. You may need to order through a specialty outdoor retailer or direct. The mass retail presence is limited. The quality is real. The logo is just smaller. Patagonia Torrent Shell 3L. Patagonia belongs here too, on the right product. The trap at number 1 was about the down sweater and nano puff being used in the wrong position. The Torrent Shell 3L is a genuine waterproof outer shell, and a capable one. It uses Patagonia's H2O membrane in true 3-layer construction. The membrane bonded between the face fabric and a protective inner layer, eliminating the hanging liner that creates clammy feel in lesser builds. Full seam taping. Clear category positioning as a waterproof outer shell. At $149 to $249, H2O 3-layer is not Gore-Tex Pro in breathability, but the price to performance logic is honest, the specs are published, and the construction matches the claim. This is the jacket the Nano Puff goes underneath. Marmot Minimalist Pro. Marmot carries genuine alpine heritage that frequently gets overlooked because the brand does not hold the same logo recognition as the largest outdoor names. The Minimalist Pro uses a Gore-Tex membrane with fully taped seams and a clean technical design. At $250 to $300, it fills the gap between the OR Helium and the Arc'teryx options, real Gore-Tex construction at a price that a broader range of buyers can actually reach. If the OR Helium is not meeting your needs for sustained multi-day conditions, and the Arc'teryx price is out of range, the Marmot Minimalist Pro is where that conversation belongs. Before you buy any outdoor jacket, run through this quickly. Is the membrane named? Gore-Tex, Event, Pertex Shield, Polartec NeoShell, H2 No. A real membrane has a name the brand is willing to publish. Waterproof without a name system is a surface treatment. The absence of that name anywhere in the product specs is itself information about the product. Is the seam taping full or critical? Fully taped means every seam on the jacket is sealed against water. Critical means shoulders only. Water enters through seams. Know what you are buying before the rain tells you. What layer is this jacket built for? Shell, mid-layer, or insulated outer? A mid-layer in wet conditions needs a waterproof shell over it. That distinction has to be clear before you purchase, not discovered on the trail. Does the brand publish breathability ratings or hydrostatic head pressure? If those numbers do not appear in the product specs, they may not be worth publishing. Are the zippers weather sealed? Chest zip, pit vents, cuff openings. These are water entry points in any jacket that does not seal them properly. Is the hood helmet compatible with single-handed adjustment? In real alpine conditions, you manage your hood in cold and wind with loaded hands. If the adjustment system is decorative, it is not doing the job. Does the marketing photography actually show this jacket being used in the conditions you plan to use it in, or does it show golden light, dry rock, and no rain in the frame? Outdoor conditions do not negotiate with brand logos. They respond to whether the membrane breathes, the seams are sealed, and the insulation holds